Hi, I am Dr. D. Madhu, Senior Surgical Oncologist and Robotic Surgeon from KIMS Hospital. Today we are going to know about pancreatic cancer and other related cancers in the periampullary region. Why we need to know about this pancreatic cancer is because of the grave prognosis of pancreatic cancer. Most of the patients with pancreatic cancer believe that they are not going to have any further treatment once the diagnosis is made. So there are plenty of options available, lot of treatment is available, lot of stuff is there. Now the pancreatic cancer is manageable, and we will go into the details of pancreatic cancer now. See, patient most of the times pancreatic cancer is a diagnosis after the patient develops symptoms. So based on the symptoms, we diagnose this disease. Patients may develop icterus called jaundice and loss of weight, loss of appetite and anemia. So these four symptoms most of the patients will be presenting with, and jaundice will be a deepening jaundice, progressive jaundice. It's not a mild jaundice just like that. So the unexplained weight loss, unexplained loss of appetite, all these symptoms. With these symptoms, when the patient presents, the clinician's mind goes towards the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. So once the clinician goes towards the pancreatic cancer, he starts evaluating in that area preliminarily by doing a basic CT scan. And these things we will go into more detail, we will be explaining it in a proper way, and these are the various symptoms with which the pancreatic cancer presents. Some of other symptoms which I forgot to mention are, they may present sometimes with back pain, they may present with pain in the upper abdomen and back pain, and certain times they may present with other symptoms like metastatic symptoms. So the disease goes somewhere, according to the local organ, they will be having symptoms. So these are the routine symptoms which the pancreatic cancer presents. And one more addition I want to make is the vomiting. Sometimes the patient may have vomiting if the lesion is causing gastric outlet obstruction. These are the various symptoms with which this pancreatic cancer presents, and it's very interesting area to know about the pancreatic cancer because I am interested in pancreatic cancer. I am known for my pancreatic cancer work. How this disease develops, and till now we heard about how the pancreatic cancer presents to a clinician. What is the origin of the disease? How the disease develops in a patient? This is going to be a crucial area which can be modified and be taken to the next level of management. Certain risk factors I would like to bring before you are, one is the smoking, alcoholism, and hereditary pancreatitis. Sometimes pancreatic cancer can be hereditary also. Hereditary pancreatitis can be a background for pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer is diagnosed more in diabetic patients. So diabetes is also considered as one of the risk factors. And apart from all these things, the patients who have a repeated procedures of common bile duct, this may instigate in future development of malignancy in pancreas. These risk factors contributing to the pancreatic cancer will be 10% of the patients of pancreatic cancer only. 90% of the pancreatic cancer patients develop the disease without any specific risk factor. This is going to be called as a de novo origin of pancreatic cancer. So pancreatic cancer, it includes cancers arising from different parts of the pancreas. Pancreas is being divided into 4 parts: head of the pancreas, neck of the pancreas, body and tail. So the cancerous lesions that develop in the pancreatic head and the uncinate process of the pancreas will be mimicking, will similar to the disease that is going to arise from distal common bile duct and in the duodenal carcinomas. All these are grouped together called as a periampullary carcinoma. So the lesions in the head of the pancreas, they present with all the symptoms that I mentioned now. But the tumors that arise in the body and tail, they have a different presentation. They generally present with loss of weight, loss of appetite. There may not be any jaundice in those patients. There may not be any gastric outlet obstruction causing vomitings. So vomitings and jaundice is rare, the body and tail of the lesions, and they present with a silent presentation, and as soon as they present to the clinician, they will be very, very advanced. So compared to the head of the pancreas tumors, body and tail pancreas tumors have got a poor prognosis, they present late and they respond to the treatment very badly. So now we know about how the lesion originates, how the tumor develops, what are all the risk factors, how the symptoms present, and the clinician now, the role is of the clinician. So clinician, when he starts evaluating the patient, first important investigation we write is the triphasic CT scan. Triphasic CT scan means in 3 phases the CT scan will be done. That is in the portal phase, venous phase and the arterial phase. In this we have a very good anatomical detail and precise knowledge of the location of the tumor. Based on that, tumor surgery can be planned. After this triphasic CT, suppose if the patient is having jaundice, if it is below 15 milligrams per deciliter, we can operate. Suppose if it is more than 15, we have to put a stent inside the biliary system. This is generally done by medical gastroenterologist. So they will be putting a stent to bring down the bilirubin level in the jaundice and keep the situation favorable for the surgeon in future to perform the surgery. So basically upper GI and ERCP. So these two are the main investigations we generally do a patient with pancreatic cancer or a periampullary carcinoma presents. Apart from these, we do the routine investigations like LFT, liver function tests, and complete blood picture, electrolytes, and we will evaluate all the surgical investigations to fit the patient, where suppose if the patient is a candidate for the surgery, we will be doing all these things. So after evaluation, we will get a concrete diagnosis. Suppose the lesion is in the periampullary region, the medical gastroenterologist will be doing a biopsy. By doing upper GI with a side viewing endoscope, he will take a biopsy from the lesion. Suppose the biopsy is not possible in these patients, then we have to go ahead with the surgery directly. Certain times we get the diagnosis, we get the doubt whether this is cancer or not, something else. That is always a possibility. In such scenarios, endoscopic ultrasound guided biopsy is recommended. So these are all the various investigations we do for pancreatic cancer, head of the pancreas lesions and the body and tail of the pancreas lesions also. But for head of the pancreas lesions and in the periampullary tumors, PET scan we generally don't recommend. But for body and tail pancreas lesions, PET scan is recommended because PET scan is not so useful in the case of head of the pancreas tumors. So the specific investigation which I told called triphasic CT, we consider it as called as pancreatic protocol CT. This is the classical investigation that is going to determine the patient whether he is a surgical candidate or a non-surgical candidate. This is how we evaluate and tailor the treatment according to the stage of the tumor in the patient. Now, I already divided pancreas into 4 parts: the head and uncinate process, neck, body and tail. So any tumor that is there in the head and uncinate process of the pancreas, we generally do a surgical procedure called Whipple's procedure. This operability, the tumor proximity to the main blood vessels, is delineated in the pancreatic protocol CT. In the pancreatic protocol CT, once we have decided the role of surgery and we are going to operate, then the role of surgery comes. What surgery we are going to do? It is called Whipple's procedure. In this procedure, we are going to resect the head of the pancreas along with the entire duodenum. So after the resection is done, we are going to take the small bowel and do reconstruction in such a way that the pancreatic juice drains into the small bowel, the bile drains into the small bowel, and the food also enters into the small intestine. This is how we reconstruct. This is a technically demanding procedure and which is done in high volume institutes. And the doing just surgery is not important. While operating, we have to take 2 precautions. One is giving adequate margin, and the second one is retrieval of adequate number of lymph nodes surrounding the tumor. These 2 important precautions should be given utmost priority while operating. So oncologist has to take adequate care while doing surgery, that there should not be any marginal miss in margins and lymph nodal retrieval. Generally, this procedure is done in open method. But in our institute, we have been doing a lot of minimal invasive work in the pancreatic cancers. Initially, we started with laparoscopy and we used to do total laparoscopic Whipple, and slowly we transitioned into robotics. Robotics, we consider it as total robotic Whipple. We almost performed around 50 minimal invasive procedures, out of which 30 are robotic and 20 are laparoscopic. This is one of the highest series in India. And very distinguished kind of surgery in these Telugu states. And surgically, technically demanding, but we gained adequate experience. And with this minimal invasive surgery, the patient may not be shifted to ICU. He will be directly shifting to room, and the patient will be discharged earlier, and the patient can get back to work faster compared to a patient who underwent open Whipple procedure. This is about the head of the pancreatic lesions. Now let us come to the neck. Neck lesions, we generally operate a procedure called central pancreatectomy. We remove that block of the pancreas, and the small intestine is sutured to the distal part, and the head part is closed. That is called central pancreatectomy. This procedure is done for tumors in the neck of the pancreas. Now the organ that is being left out is the body and tail. Any tumor in this body and tail of the pancreas, the procedure we do is called distal pancreatectomy. In this, there are 2 types. One is spleen preserving. We preserve the spleen specifically, or if it is not possible, we have to do splenectomy. So spleen preserving distal pancreatectomy and the distal pancreaticosplenectomy. This procedure is done for pancreatic body and tail tumors. And these procedures, these can be done open method or laparoscopy or robotic, but more preferable for body and tail tumors is laparoscopy. Once the surgical treatment is done, the patient we get the biopsy report. Based on this biopsy report, we are going to decide what kind of treatment is needed additional treatment is needed for this particular patient. Such additional treatments may include chemotherapy or radiation according to the need of the patient. And what precautions that a routine person, a routine individual in the society can take to avoid pancreatic cancer development is avoiding the risk factors. So risk factors avoidance means, so they're not sticking to smoking or alcohol. Patient who had the history of hereditary pancreatitis should take adequate precautions by having frequent checkups with the physicians, and diabetic patients should be very careful and in frequent follow-ups. Any small tumor that is being identified in the early phase, if they can be removed, we can do sometimes enucleation also. Certain procedures can be done to prevent future havoc in the patient. So most of these patients will have the diagnosis done before they come to us, because ours is a tertiary care unit. So avoidance of risk factors is going to definitely bring down the disease, but most of the times pancreatic cancers happen without any specific risk factor. So we can't say that we can prevent the pancreatic cancer 100%, but to some extent we can do it. And so the already diagnosed patient comes to us, so we will be doing surgery or referring the patient to other treatments if surgery is not feasible, like radiation or chemotherapy, and according to that the treatment will be tailored to individual patient to give the best possible outcomes. And robotics definitely has been a revolution in pancreatic cancer surgery, bringing down the morbidity. Most of the patients now who are undergoing total robotic Whipple have a precise anastomosis, less number of leaks, smaller incision, faster recovery, no ICU stay. Yeah, thank you.